Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
You're welcome to the weekend preview. All eyes on Cheltenham this weekend for the major Gold Cup, and of course the Great Wood Handicap Hurdle as well. As always on a Thursday, we've got the brilliant expertise of George Gorman, Andy Newton, and Peter Michael. Three men who continue to be in red-hot form. None more so than Andy Newton, who is banging in not just one, not just two, not just three, 4 winners every single day for the last few weeks. It's been absolutely insane, the run of form this man is on. So let's see if he can keep it going. This episode brought to you by OneXBet. You can find out more about them in the episode description below on YouTube and on all good podcast apps. We're going to start with the feature race of the weekend, the Gold Cup Handicap Chase, very classily run in memory of the late great Edward O'Grady, who of course had great success in this race in the past as well. But with the going conditions changing and the fact that we now have an anti-post favourite who's been burdened with top weight of 12 stone than the Cheltenham Festival hero Jagwar, which puts me off for all that there are weight statistics that would be in his favour, George. Who are you going to side with in the Gold Cup?
This race is a bit of a stat man's dream. Like, there are some very, very strong trends in it. Like, you've got 9 of the last 12 winners were between 7 and 9. 9 of the last 12 carried 11 stone or less. 9 of the last 12 ran within the last 35 days. Only 1 of the last 12 had won on their last run. Previous course form's important. I think 11 out of 12 had 2 previous runs at Cheltenham. 7 out of 12 had at least 1 previous win in a graded race. Basically, all of that just screams Il Ridotto, really, doesn't it? But there is, I think it was one of the last... Or is it one of the last... So 9 of the last 12 have come from outside the top 3 in the betting. And it just... There aren't very many multiple winners of this race. You have to go back to Cypher Malta in 98 and 2002 for the last dual winner. And you have to go back to Bradbury Star in 93 and 94 for the last consecutive winner. So I'm going to go for risking the ground here. He satisfies just as many of those trends. The only thing going against him is he won in his last run, which would buck the trend a bit. But the horse he beat was obviously Blue King Daru, who went out and won the Grade 2 at Wincanton at the weekend. So I'll take that form boost over the statistic of not winning that season. The Skeltons haven't won this race before, but he worked under Paul Nicholls, who's won it quite a few times down Skelton. So you'll be risking the ground for me.
Okay, he was definitely one I liked during the week. I'm not so sure with the going changes and now the extra weight he's carrying. Andy Newton, who are you with?
Yeah, Skelton's I think he's had about 7 horses in this in the last 5 years, and he's gone close, had a couple of seconds. He had the 4th last year with that Madeira, whatever it's called as well, and he's got the same owners going here as that horse in Panic Attack. But I don't know, I just think she's quite a fragile mare, isn't she? So at the age of 9,
high 120s horse, Andy, isn't she? She's not a 135 horse.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just worry about that. I know there's the course form is there. And, you know, on the jockey bookings of the sort of the Skelton trio, then people are going to latch onto that one because Harry's been booked and so on. But I'm sort of with George and on a couple of the other Skelton ones. I'm not sure about risking the ground. I just think they might have a bit more of a target later down the line with that one. But obviously that form last time has been boosted with Blue King Daru coming out and winning last weekend. So there might be something there. Jagwar at the top, like you said, there's a lot of weight there. I don't think JP's ever won this either, so there might be a story there. Impressive at the festival, but that came on the new course. It's probably worth just mentioning that. It's obviously on the old course. Last Irish Train winner was in fact the late great Edward O'Grady. Tranquil Sea, yeah, back in 2009. So Gavin Cromwell's got one in here, and Henry de Bromhead. I mean, the Gavin Cromwell sort of form at the moment, we talked about that, a little bit shocking. So the company sergeant who's got form tied in with Jagwar, I think, at the festival. Then you've got Sam Thomas, who's absolutely buzzing at the moment. He's got that Vincenzo, but again, like George pointed out, the stats, that one's coming back off 59 days, I think it is. El Ridotto is probably the solid one in here. I mean, favourites have won 4 of the last 23. I think this is its 4th time running in the race as well. It's been 3rd in 2023, 4th in 2022, and obviously won it last year. Similar sort of weight. I think it's only a pound difference, but they had Freddie Gingell, didn't they, on it last year, claiming 3. So it's probably £4 worse off or something. But that looks like a bit of a banker, I think, El Ridotto, to sort of get in the frame. But going back to the Skelton ones, I think that Ho Jolie Smoke is interesting. on the bookings, the jockey bookings, Keelan Woods is probably the third string, but it does tick a lot of the boxes. This one, 7-year-old, weight 10 stone 11, ran very well when I was up there in the October meeting, the showcase last time out. That was over 3 mile 1, dropping back in trip now. That will suit because it looked all over the winner. I mean, I don't know what it traded in running, but that must have been short because it was super travelling coming to the last and then just sort of fell in a bit of a hole, didn't it? Came third in the end to that 3-card brag. But if the ground does come up soft, which we all think it's going to, it's still, it does stay, smoke. It's 1 over 3 miles. So, he will stay, but dropping back in trip with the softer ground, I think that could play into his strengths here. And, at 14 to 1, I think he is a decent each way option here for the Skeltons to hopefully break their duck. So Skelton to beat his old mate Nichols. That's the 1-2 here. Ho Jolie Smoke to beat last year's winner, El Rodotto.
If he chins Il Rodotto and stops Paul Nicholls winning 3 of these in the bounce, you can just imagine. I'm sure he'll welcome him with a warm embrace. Peter, I'm very keen to hear what you have to say about the race as well. I'll just get mine out of the way. I've completely flipped on this race. I was very keen on the horse that George was talking about earlier on, for reasons that have already been mentioned, him going up in the weights. Not as sure about him now. The 2 Henry de Bromhead horses, obviously the Irish stat is very negative against them. Coming up easy, he's unbeaten in 3 runs in handicap chases. He's jumped from 116 to winning off 132. He now has to run off 142, but he's a half-brother to the Grade 2 Novice Chase winner, Pencil Full of Lead, who I really liked. And he was second in a Grade 1 Novice Chase over just shy of the strip, so there's probably more improvement to come from him, and Dara's chosen to ride him. Theatre Native's really, really interesting. She bolted up in handicap chase, listed company at Cheltenham back in April under Rachel. That was by 10 lengths. She's got a lightweight. She gets Sean Bone for the first time. She's a half-sister to Theatre Glory, who's rated 137 over hurdles, an ambitious fellow who was a listed handicap hurdle winner over 2 mile 6 on soft ground. Theatre Glory did her best performances on good, or at least with good in the going description, so how soft, potentially heavy ground would suit her, don't know. But she's an interesting runner, and I know she's a horse they liked quite a bit. I've kind of come around to Hunter Legend for Venetia Williams. It's her time of year, and this horse probably needs soft heavy. So he was off the list when I was writing a feature earlier in the week. He was pretty much off the list this morning as well. With Storm, whatever its name. What's the Storm's name again?
No idea.
It's called Claudia. Winkleman Storm.
Let's keep dancing. A Storm Claudia batters Cheltenham. That might very well be to this fella's advantage. He's a half-brother to Sapage, who was a really good horse for Venetia Williams. Won a Cheltenham handicap over this trip off a mark of 154 as an 8-year-old, which this guy now is. Also won twice at Cheltenham and made the frame 4 times at the track. He's by the same sire as Dual Gold Cup winner Album Photo and by the Arkle winner Duke de Ginevra. He's going to get his conditions. He's a double-figure price. And Charlie Deutsch continues to ride in great form. Venetia Williams, this is her time of year. This is her ground. So at a big price, not as big as I liked. He was 25 to 1 when I started coming around to him. He's now 16s with 1xBet in Ireland. Hunter Legend is the one I'll put up each way. Peter, for you.
Well, just to start off with this, obviously it's running in memory of Edward O'Grady. Edward was an absolute gentleman. I met him a couple of times, and my father actually went to school with him for a bit. So it's great to see this race run in his honour. And he's a guy that I think the majority of people in Irish racing had a lot of respect for. In regards with this, look, I still think we're at a time of year that everybody's to take everything with a bit of caution. But in another couple of weeks, the form will be settling down a little bit. I like Jagwar, but 4 to 1 off 12 stone first time out. I don't know. I think he will be winning more off 148. He's a highly progressive horse. But I just don't know what level of fitness he's turning up at, and he's got 12 stone to carry. So, it's hard to be putting him up, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he won. I was looking at Gavin's horse, actually, the Company Sergeant. The amount of rain due, there's nearly 40 mils due between now and Saturday. So, that's going to turn it, surely it's going to turn it heavy. It's already good to soft. His stamina mightn't last 2 miles forward Cheltenham and heavy. I know he was second over the course and distance to Jagwar at the festival, but I just thought towards the end he didn't hit the line as well as I would have expected him to. Now, he does like soft or heavy ground. He's won and ran well on it before, but just a combination of 2 miles forward on soft or heavy ground would I would be worried about that. But he's a bit of a tasty price at 10-1, so I'll probably put him up each way because I think he'll run a big race. I'm not too worried about Gavin's form. He seems to be a trainer that's always in form. Now, I know what you boys are saying. He's going through a slightly quiet patch, but I saw an interview with him actually with Kevin O'Ryan there a couple of days ago, and he just had a glint in his eye about this November meeting. So I think he's expecting a winner too. I could be way wrong, but yeah, I'll go with him. And I think the one Andy mentioned, Holy Smoke, is an each-way price as well. Now, I think Dan has 3 in it, and Harry's riding Panic Attack, so that obviously should point us towards that. But look, it's a wide-open race. You're seeking a bit of value, so I'll go for the Company Sergeant and maybe something small and Holy Smoke.
I'm starting to wonder if Jagwar is going to be better suited to the December Gold Cup, because I was very interested in him earlier in the week off 11 stone 5. 12 stone, maybe we'll just sit back afterwards and go, actually, this horse could win a Gold Cup.
He's very progressive.
Yeah, mark of 148 actually underestimates him.
Yeah, I think I have no doubt he'll win off 148. I just don't know if it's on Saturday or not. But look, it's a big race. It's £160,000 race, so maybe they'll have him ready to rock.
Yeah, Long Run got beaten in this, and then won a King George and a Gold Cup. So I'll let him run at 4-1. If he wins, fair play. It's something that we can talk about on the podcast on Monday with Daryl Jacob and Lizzie Kelly and another special guest returning to the show. People said it would never happen, but he returns to the show on Monday. Find out. Final Furlong Podcast this Monday. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't, hit it now. Hit a like button as well. The first race of the day, this is going to be hopefully a very, very informative race. The favourite is Precocious Man in the JCB Triumph Hurdle Juvenile. Should be Trial. Yeah, JCB Triumph Trial Juvenile Hurdle. 5-2 with 1x bet in Ireland with a first-time tongue tie for Precious Man. Johnny Delahaye with one with Dan Skelton. You're going to see a bit more of that. Hallelujah You makes his debut over jumps for James Owen, whose horses continue to be in great form. Santos Davis will ride him. Sean Bone's been booked for Kate O'Reilly, the filly. But all eyes on Parchment, who's been talked up by Tom Malone, now talked up by Adam Mills in our French special, The French Connection. George Gorman, is David Pipe about to unleash a superstar?
He could well be, and he's actually in a good bit of form. I think he's at about a 25% strike rate at the moment, David Pipe, which will probably be the best start to a season he's had in a good while. In terms of the favourite, the first time out tongue tie, it puts me off a small bit. And obviously the fact that Adam Mills and basically all of the French experts seem to think Parchment's a proper horse, that presumably means they don't think Precious Man is as good. But looking down the list, then you've got James Owen. I'm not. He's having a few winners, but they're not quite firing like you'd expect them to be at this time of year. Gavin Cromwell's at a 3% strike rate, I think it was. I think the overpriced one is One Horse Town, to be honest. With Harry Derham absolutely flying, like he's got a 32% strike rate, 59% runners to form. He's very impressive in his first sort of proper winter start at Kempton last time out after 2 very easy wins over the summer. He brings a lot of experience to the table here, which I think is probably lacking with a few of these. There's hurdling debutants. There's horses that have only run in France. This horse has raced the English way over here, and just think he might be a bit too streetwise for some of these. In terms of racing post ratings, he's up there with all of them. I think 12-1 is a bit of a mad price for him. So I'll probably just back him each way and then see what we learn for the big event in March, hopefully, from one of the others. If Parchment goes and absolutely sluices in, hopefully One Horse Town finishes second or third, and I can put the winnings onto Parchment for Cheltenham.
Nice. The Triumph Hurdle dream alive and well, hopefully. Gamble responsibly and all that. Andy Newton, James Owen going for his 3rd consecutive win in this race. Is David Pipe going to end that?
Well, look, the betting's going to tell us a bit, sort of come the day with the 2 French ones at the top, the 2 Ps, so we'll have to see there. But I think I'm going to probably just stick with James Owen. I mean, and also the Greedley family, and they won this as well with.
For those of you watching, hello Bella.
Hello Bella. So they're actually, the owners are actually going for their 3rd win in this as well. So the fact they've got 2 in here, because they won it with All Mankind back in the day as well. So, and the interesting thing is probably, Kate O'Reilly was fairly impressive at Ludlow. This is obviously a massive step up. But Twiston Davis rode that day. He's probably would have had the choice, you'd think, and he has decided to go for Hallelujah You, who is making, hurdles debut, but he brings some decent flat form. Was 6 at Ascot in that Queen's Vase to Karma's, only beating 2 1/4 lengths, ran behind Scandinavia as well at Newmarket, I think. So jumping's going to obviously be taken on trust, but they're going to want to bag the hat trick, James Owen and the Greedleys here. So I'll take Hallelujah You to be the one here, I think.
Well, I am interested in him on the 2 1/4 length defeat in the Queen's Vase at Royal Ascot. Like, that reads very well. But a Pinatubo over hurdles at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'd need to see that. I would really need to see that first. First ever Pinatubo to go jumping. Peter Michael, who do you like?
Well, very hard for us to know. Obviously, the boys who study the French racing would have a good idea about the top 2. I don't have a clue about them. So it's a very hard race to weigh up. As Andy was saying, Hallelujah You, he's, was rated 101 on the flat. So he could be very interesting over hurdles. But look, it's a hard race. I'm going to put up Gavin's one again, Secret Force. I was impressed with him last time on his hurdles debut. Now, it wasn't the best race in the world, but at the same time, it wasn't a Mickey Mouse race either. He was only rated 70 in the flat when winning for Gavin, but he's unbeaten for Gavin. He's 2 for 2 for Gavin. If the ground does go heavy, I mean, he's won and heavy in the flat, so it should be fine. Yeah, look, it's a very open race. It wouldn't surprise me if anything won this, so I wouldn't be getting involved heavily at all. But I put up Gavin's one as an each way bet in this, if for the show.
George, what about Gary's horse here? Is there any info on that?
Galactic.
Yeah.
Is that? Look, keeps winning. It seems to be making hard work of it each time. It could well be that he's capable of better, but there wouldn't be a whole lot for me in his last 2 wins that make you think he's necessarily up to this level. But I'd be very happy to be proven wrong. But like I said, he's only doing enough, so he might well be better than he's showing us. But he's not been easy the last time, so I'll say that. But probably learning all the time, probably capable of better. He's off 117 at the moment. Be nice if he was a mid-120s horse, but you'd have to be better than that to win this, you would hope.
Okay, we're going to switch to the third race. Before we get to it, this episode is brought to you by 1xbet.ie. If you're looking for a new betting company in Ireland, if you're looking to get stuck into some markets, there's over 7,000 betting markets for you to get stuck into every single day on the 1xbet website. You can check out the new customer specials, which are available for you as well. The link is in the episode description on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you're listening to us. We really appreciate it. You can click the link there. It'll take you right to the 1xbet website in Ireland. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Your game, your odds, your 1xbet. And we're going to switch to the Arkle Trial, where Henry de Bromhead is going to bring over July Flower, who was competing in Grade 1s last season. Admittedly, Grade 1 mares races, but she was very, very impressive on her stable debut. Her second run for Henry, she briefly went over to France for a little bit. But she was really, really good on her debut at Christmas time. And then was no match for Lossiemouth or for Jade Delargy. But pleasing chase debut, and if she builds on that, then understandably she's going to be a short price favourite, George.
Yeah, understandably for sure. She's sort of receiving weight all round, obviously, because of the mare's allowance. I just think Be Aware has always struck me as a horse that the Skeltons think a hell of a lot of, and I think he'd be a lot better going chasing, especially being a son of Marteline. This should be the absolute making of him now, going chasing. But like I said, he's rated £3 lower and he's got to give away £7. But I can see that making a difference, particularly, I know July Flower's gone out and won over fences, but she's by Pistorius, isn't she?
Yeah.
I'd struggle to think of a famous Pistorius chaser. I'm not sure there is one. I think we're Lucky
Zenta
Place
Try and
Centre. Yeah, Cabral de Matan. We had a Pistorius called Neff who ran in a bet for a hurdle, but I don't think he ever went chasing. He wasn't over big. I could be wrong about that. I know he did go chasing, but it seemed that very unsuccessful. Yeah, I just think that's enough in it for me, just in the breeding, to think I'm not taking 6 to 5 about her. You know, Be Aware gives me sort of Loda Sud vibes, sort of one of those that knocked around for a year in handicap hurdles and probably everyone thought was absolutely chucked in, maybe didn't actually get to sort of win the big one, but I think he'll be a much better chaser. And as for Burdett Road, God, you'd be a brave man, wouldn't you?
First time out.
Yeah, I might have wanted to spin over hurdles first, get his back down, I would have thought, but we'll see. Brentford Hope be one to watch. Won't be winning this, but that will certainly make a much better chaser. I'll be interested to see where he goes after this. But for now, be aware for me.
I mean, they must think an awful lot of Burdett Roads to be coming here on the back of finishing second to Rubo. Like, Rubo won the other. That's not boosting that for him. Bloody hell, that was an awful race. He's fallen in that race. Like, to throw him into a grade 2 novice chase for your, like, you really are throwing this fella into the deep end. Maybe he'll come out on top. Maybe we're going to look silly afterwards, but I'd be taking him on, Andy.
I mean, Burdett Road, he is the top rated here, but like you say, first time over fences and stuff. But yeah, he likes Cheltenham, doesn't he? He's 1-2-1-2 here, so there might be something there. But I mean, I don't think he's the greatest jumper even over hurdles. So put a fence involved and then potentially softer ground. I mean, we talked about earlier, he might not even run. We'll have to see if the ground gets sort of desperate.
Maybe we are missing something. Sorry, Andy. Sorry. He was second in a champion hurdle. Admittedly, it was a clown show. It was like watching a clown run across a minefield, but he was second in a champion hurdle, which means he's a good thing.
Yeah, one would, and took the Greatwood as well last year. So, like I say, the Cheltenham form 1-2-1-2. So we'll have to see. It might be a natural over fences, but not for me personally. Look, the age stat is all of the last 10 have been 5 or 6, which is the top 3 in the betting. So Stencil, Brentford, and got that to overcome. Last horse to win this trial and go on to win the main event at the festival was.
Ooh.
I'll give you a clue.
Not a clue.
He trains the favourite. He trains the favourite of this race.
Put the kettle on. Aidan Coleman.
Yeah. Put the kettle on. So, similar-ish profile, mares and all that business. So, yeah, 2019/20 season was the last.
We'll gloss over that I was working there at the time and didn't get that.
My goodness.
Well, before that...
She was in my barn as well.
Yeah. Was it? Oh, George. Come on, mate.
Come on, George.
Yeah, and look, before that, you have to go back to Azertiup, which has got like the best name ever with the keyboard, isn't it? Azertiup, because when you look at your keyboard, it just goes bang all the way.
Yeah, if you mash the keyboard,
the top bar, yeah. So they're the last two to win this back to back. Look, be aware, it won the Stratford race last time out, which was the same race that Loda Sud won before taking this as well. So it's probably worth just mentioning that. Horses that were in behind that day, that Serendipity actually runs at the weekend as well. I think it goes at Wetherby, but that's in a later race, so we're not really going to know much about the form. It's a shame. If that race is earlier, we might know. But I think the horse called the Widowmaker has come out and been a beaten favourite on Monday, so you just worry a little bit about that form. But the Skeltons have taken the same sort of approach or route from Loda Sud last year, but I just think everything just points to July Flower. He was impressive last time over fences, 11 lengths, brings the form in, gets to £7, and as I said, Henry's won this last time. We've put the kettle on, and it went on to win the Arkle. So I'm not saying it's going to do that, but I think it'll win this.
Jesus. Who names these horses? Like the Widowmaker. If someone phoned me up and said, "Oh yeah, are you busy at the weekend?" You go, no. Oh, I've got one to ride for you in a point down Garforth or whatever. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. What is it? I'll look it up. The Widowmaker. Click. Phone's going down. No chance.
George, do you want to ride the Widowmaker this weekend? You're doing it this weekend, George. You want to ride? You fancy riding the Widowmaker?
Yeah. It's a dead cert. Yeah.
Hey.
We used to have one in the southeast called Highly Deadly. So I always Harry Bentley's older brother used to ride it in point to points. I said I wouldn't go anywhere near that. Highly Deadly.
Yeah, no thanks. Some of these horses are well named too. There's a reason that horse has the name the Widowmaker. Peter Michael, who do you like?
Yeah, I think it'll be July Flower here for me. Everything points to her. The highest rated of them over hurdles, apart from Burdett Road. But she's proven over fences already. She's obviously fit. She'll go on the soft ground. And look, it's a novice chase. And the first person you look to, for me anyway, in the novice chase is Henry de Bromhead, because his horses are always excellently skilled. Now, she jumped very well some fences last time. and she's a little bit sketchy over a few of the others. But I think Henry will have her 100% for this. So yeah, look, she should be hard to beat. It'll be interesting to see how Burdett Road gets on for some over fences. You know, I'll be keeping an eye on him. But for the day, for the race on the day, yeah, July Flower is the most likely winner for sure.
Go out, make all, or at least be prominent, and absolutely sluice in Darragh
Well,
Keefe.
I mean, like, I wouldn't say, like, I do think she'll win, but like, would you call her value? What price? She's around 5 to 4. I'd say she's the right price.
She a winner. Don't care. All right, let's go.
That's the thing. Hold on, that's the thing. For this show, we just want to point out winners. But in the long term, you need value. So
the problem is that we go for the combination of winners and value.
Yeah,
and
well,
for this race, like if you're telling me you're back in Burdett Road, I'm not telling you don't do that. The horse is, you could argue he's value based on the price he is. And I can understand why somebody wants to back him. And maybe the fact that he's rocking up in this race tells you an awful lot that actually he's got a chance of winning it. I just think it's a novice chase going up against a horse that was considered grade 1 class by the De Bromhead team last year. And Henry's horses almost always are much better over fences than they were over hurdles. And she's got match practice. And you've got Darragh Keefe on your side.
Yeah. No, look, I think she's the most likely winner, but I'm just saying, like, she's the right price. That's all.
But I can also understand George's point about be aware. They sent him off favourite for the Coral Cup. Right. It's the Rory de Gravy Handicap Hurdle. I don't know why it's not called that, but we're calling it the Rory de Gravy. Shout out Rory Delargy. The 2:55 over 3 miles. How far is Kijiko going to win? George Gorman.
I find it extremely hard to see past the favourite here, to be honest. I think Supremely West.
Okay, go on. Tell us why.
I think like the wind surgery obviously perks up your ears, as well as the transfer to Dan Skelton. Ran very well over course and distance in behind Mashan 2 the last time, despite being given a first run back from a wind-up ride. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say anything untoward was going on. I'd say he was allowed to finish his race and realise that he can sort of breathe again, and ran very well. Up a pound for his troubles, but I could very well see him going better this time. I just think it's not that great a race for the grade, to be honest, looking down it. And I think he's fairly obvious. If there was one at a bit more of a price, Evan Williams' horse ran in that same race over course and distance. Was it a Potemps qualifier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ran down the field there, but is 1 from 6 off the back of breaks in 50 days or more. You don't have to go back that far to March last season. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 runs back, 1 off 121, with Isabel Williams claiming 3. Not a whole lot higher now, 123. Obviously, Isabel Williams no longer claiming. But the third behind Red Risk off 124 even was a good effort, and that was much closer to this mark. That was behind Red Risk, only beating a length and a quarter. It's not chucked in by any means, but it's reasonably well handicapped. Would expect it to go one better than would expect it to come on for the run from last time. 16 to 1's probably a reasonable price. I could see it finishing in the 3. Particularly, I think a lot of people will be drawn to Long Draw and Gal Road because of their sort of Cheltenham wins. But all their best form for both of them really is on the new course. So I could be looking past them, especially Gal Road disappointed me the last day. Like I know he's 9 now, but he really put in a stinker the last day. So I'd be a bit concerned with him. And Long Draw's just not that well handicapped. So it'd be Supremely West, I think, would just probably win. Patriotic, I might have a place only go.
Okay, BHA Handicapper gave Kiki Joe a mark of 124 for his debut, and it was pretty woeful last year. He was beaten 16 lengths, then he regressed, beaten 25 lengths, but suddenly bounced back. Improved for the application of cash? Don't know, but it suited me because I liked them from France and had been told this was a horse to keep an eye out for. So he wins, then ran well enough in a handicap chase at Newbury. That was his chase debut. Then follows up in a handicap chase of a mark of 121. Ran well enough back in March. He was only beaten the length. I thought he shaped very, very nicely. He's going to like the ground, and I'm hoping 6 to 1 for the Hobbs and White team, who've already had a winner at Cheltenham this season. Hopefully this will be another one, Andy.
Kiki Joe, yeah, he's definitely interesting. And when he did bounce back at Newbury, I mean, that was over fences, we're worth pointing out, but it also came on soft ground. So, and like you said, over in France, he's won on very soft. So 10 stone 2 as well. You know, it's a featherweight, and
Andy, throwing in here. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot bigger earlier in the week, but then the race has cut up a little bit. So it's going to probably go off sort of second favourite. I think Hobbs has won this in the past with that Sporting John 2021 maybe, or something like that. So certainly stayed on last time at Aintree, didn't he? And should be better for that run. So I wouldn't put you off Kiki Joe as well. Long drawn, and like George said, Supremely West are sort of linked in with the run at the October meeting. Only £1 between them, but Supremely West was finishing super well that day, I think, and looked like it needed to run. Sure to come on for it. Still beat Long Draw by 2.5 lengths or so. So it's tricky because I do like Kiki Joe, and the lightweight for him is tempting. But Skelton did win this last year as well. It might be worth pointing that out. I think we put that up actually, didn't we? And it got smashed up. It was at Gorman Quest. Yeah, and it was something like 4 or 5 to 1 when we did the podcast, and it got absolutely, battered into 5 to 4 favourite and did the business for us. So yeah, and then just quickly on George's one when he mentioned that patriotic. I mean, Evan Williams is starting to rumble at the moment. I think he had another winner today. Sure, he had another one week. So just something to keep an eye on, and yeah, should like the ground as well. Ran in that same race at the last meeting, and could be well handicapped. But I think look. Supremely West probably, but I do respect Kiki Joe. It's a tricky one, maybe a reverse forecast.
Okay, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky race. Supremely West is obviously attractive, but I mean, he had a wind up before his last run, and now he's had a wind up after that run. So he's had two wind operations, between like in the space of one run. So it's obviously an issue there, and it's going to be soft, maybe even heavy. So I know he goes on it, but as we all know, if a horse has a breathing problem, the heavier the ground, the more likely it is to surface out. So, I mean, I can definitely see why he's fancied, and I can see why the boys have talked him up a bit. But 2 to 1 is a bit short just because of that. If you hadn't had the second wind up done, I probably would be putting him up, but I couldn't, I'd have to look for something against him at that price. Long Draw is a horse I like, and I thought he'd come on for his last run. It's hard to know with him if the ground is soft or heavy. He's ran okay on it from point to points. I think he was second to the Passing Wife, but he's disappointed. He disappointed when he's 5 to 4 favourite on it back last year in Southwell. So, and he hasn't ran on it since. So I don't know if they've been trying to avoid it or what the story is with him. So it's hard to know. Gavin has one in it again. London off of Scotland, who the ground should be fine, but he's won and soft on the flat. So I don't know how he'll act in heavy National Hunt ground if it is. So that's a bit, something I'm unsure of. But yeah, I'll probably take a chance with him each way, just because, I mean, I'm not a fan of betting Irish horses and handicaps in the UK anymore, as you know, and I know I've put up one of Gavin's already. But there's a lot of deadwood in this race, and I think he still has a good run in him. So whether he'll get home or not on that ground over that trip, I don't know. But he should have a chance turning in, and hopefully he can stay going. So I'll go London off of Scotland each way.
Sometimes you can see things so clearly, you can't understand why other people can't see it as well as you.
I know about that, Emmet.
Kiki Joe, just don't complicate your mind.
They were class 4 chases, Emmet, those 2 runs at Newbury. This is a class 2
worry about
race.
that. He was a young horse. He's totally unexposed, technically speaking. Just go with him. Hobbs won this with Sporting Glory back in the day. He'll get this done. All right, this episode of the Final Furlong Podcast is brought to you by 1xBet. You can sign up now. The episode description, just click the episode description. You'll see the link to 1xBet right there. More than 7,000 events for you to bet on every single day on the 1xBet website in Ireland. Loads of new customer specials. 1xBet.ie or click the link in the episode description. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. 1xBet knows the crack. Bet with your head, not above it. Find out more information at 1xBet.ie or click the link in the episode description below. And what's this I see here? I see a few handsome faces in a new poster for the Final Furlong Podcast, courtesy of the team at Racing Ahead. You got that Andy Newton looking like a boss, Peter Michael, George Gorman looking like a boss, got Lizzie Kelly, Daryl Jacob, some other bloke is in there as well, and of course Georgia Cox, who's currently enjoying herself in Hong Kong. I say enjoying herself, she's working and helping prep big horses there, but Shout out to the team at Racing Ahead for the promo. Much appreciated. And if you haven't checked out Racing Ahead already, you really should. It is excellent. There's so much content there. Some bloke called Andy Newton writes some really good stuff for them too. Some great interviews. Great interview with John Frankham in this particular one. So well worth checking out. And thank you to Racing Ahead for the promo. It's much appreciated. Okay. The second last race we're going to talk about before we wrap things up a little bit. Actually, we're just going to race through a couple of races. We're going to see Cup Handicap Boards make his chase debut in Navan. If you can get there, I'd highly recommend it. Soft to heavy ground. The forecast betting with 1xBet right now, obviously Townend is on board, is 5-2 on. Lovely Hurling is going to be an interesting one, but this trip is probably a little bit too short for him, although ground is going to make things interesting. Just what are you expecting from Cup Handicap Boards on chase debut, George?
Well, I think it's a bit of a watching brief, isn't it? It'll be prohibitively short in terms of betting prospect, but I think it's one to watch and just see how he settles with a fence in front of him. Is going to be a case, is he going to be one that just runs at fences, or is a fence going to back him off and make him race more economically now? Because if it does, he's got the size and scope to make a great chaser. But it's going to be a big sign. Well, it's a big race for him in terms of how the rest of his career goes. Is he going to end up reverting to the champion hurdle by the end of the season, or is he going to be an Arkle contender? And there's no way of knowing until we watch it. I'm pretty confident he'll back off and he'll settle, because he improved a lot like that from start to start last year. I think he'll have done a good bit of growing up. But yeah, it's a watching brief, but hopefully he can turn into an Arkle contender. Because God knows, Willie Mullins needs more Cheltenham Festival winners.
Yeah, well, listen, State Man's out for the season. That's it. His season's over. He may as well just pack it in, Peter Michael. So maybe this fella can salvage the season for him. You're very excited about Cup Handicap Boards going chasing.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is, to be honest. Willie was interviewed there during the week, and you could tell that he was really looking forward to this horse, and that I think, if I remember rightly, he's no concerns about this horse jumping over fences, and fences will probably make a man of him, because he didn't really respect the hurdles. He just kind of walked through a lot of them. Yeah, look, he could be anything over fences. He could just be one of those that just absolutely goes from the front and pings every one of them, and you just can't see which way he goes. So, yeah, look, 2-5, you can't be backing him at that price. But if you're doing a double or treble, yeah, he'll be one for us. Andy?
Is he going to be an undersow, or is he going to give Willie Mullins his third win in this race in the last 10 years? It was Footpad went on to win the Arkle, and obviously Facile Vega was considered an Arkle contender. It didn't quite work out that way with that poor horse, but
yeah,
the fact that he runs in this race is interesting in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Facile Vega was a couple of years ago now. So yeah, I mean, on a bit of a recovery mission, I suppose, after Punchestown, maybe just raced too far last season, and like the boys said, not the greatest of jumpers over hurdles, but you do think that now a fence is being put in front of him, he is going to soar, and it's going to be one to watch this season. So it's a total watching brief. It's going to shape some of the Cheltenham markets after this. And yeah, we'll just I think as racing fans, we just all hope that he lives up to the hype,
Yeah.
and we'll see. But yeah, so roll on 320 at Navan, and hopefully he can get the job done and move on to better things over Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully just see him win, and then they can go for that Grade 1, which has been reinstated. It's back over 2 Mile 1, so hopefully he wins. I have a feeling he's going to be undersow, just like a mad bastard essentially, but hopefully it's fun. I can't wait to see that race. 3:55 at Navan, by the way. Keep an eye on the bumper. I don't necessarily have a tip for you. The reason for that is because apparently Jet to Monte Carlo is pretty decent, and apparently Lemmy Caution is very decent as well, and that's a race that Gordon Elliott has won 4 of the last 7 runnings of. Just keep an eye on that bumper. It should be really, really interesting. One last race to talk about at Cheltenham. So that race at Navan, the Cup Handicap Boards race, is 3:20. 10 minutes later, the nap of the weekend runs. The banker of the entire weekend. I will not hear of defeat. But will any of the team know who I'm talking about? 3:30, Cheltenham, George Gorman. Who do you fancy?
God, I hope we're talking about the same horse now. I thought there was one very overpriced in this. The highest rated on Racing Post ratings is Cat Boy for Ollie Murphy. He very impressive on his first start for the yard, having been transferred from Paul Nicholls. I think he improved his best RPR by £10 on his first start. He's gone up £9 for that, but Ollie Murphy continues to fly along. I think he's got 22% strike rate, 49% runners to form. Look, these two as a combination just can't be beaten at the moment. And it's surprised to see one of their horses such a big price in on a Saturday. The Whateleys, this horse will be bred to improve as it gets older. It'll be by Cap Guards, who will make a better chaser next year, more than likely. But I just think he's the wrong price here, totally. So I'll be with Cat Boy.
Yeah, Paul Nichols will have some face on him if that fella goes and wins. That's not the horse, by the way. Andy?
No, I didn't think so.
Look, we've got last year's winner in here, Hamsian for Tony Martin, and I think he's got a good record in this. He's won 2 of the last 3, but up £10, I think, from last year. So I don't think it's won a race since taking this, has he? So, but this is Tony Martin. So
yeah, the horse go very close today. Punchestown. He was beaten in a photo finish.
Yeah, tell me about that horse. Jesus.
Yeah, that was
sick.
No,
was that one of your bets?
I didn't bet it, but I can't.
Yeah, I had that horse on my tracker, and like double figure price, and he gets duffed on the line, but he travelled so well too.
You just give up on some of his horses after a while because you track them, and you just don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I'm sure the YouTube algorithm. Cover your ears, children. I'm sure the YouTube algorithm will allow us that one after 40 minutes. Sometimes you just have to.
Unless Peter, they're called Alphonse Legrand, and then
even
that in the Cesarowicz, then
But you just don't like that Zuzak anyway.
But yeah, look, Friendship, which is a great name for a horse.
That's Emmet's horse.
The Hobbs horse. He won the first race, I think, at the October meeting when he was there last month. Up a little bit in the weight, but that horse actually fell in the race that Royal Infantry came 3rd in, and I think Royal Infantry
won that race.
Possibly would have won it, but I think it still would have finished in front of Friendship at the time. It looked
Friendship should have won that race.
You think so? I don't know. I think he was getting a little bit niggled at the time, and then he fell, and then he's come out and franked the form, obviously winning very well at Cheltenham last time out. But there is a bit of a weight pool between the two now. I think it's £6 better off, so we just don't know. But they delve into the sort of deeper bits of that form. The 4th in that Chepstow race has come out of that Iddy Wood Snowdon horse. That's one as well. The 2nd has won as well. The 6th was that Take No Chances, which came 2nd to Strong Leader. The 8th, Josh the Boss. I mean, you can't really say it won because it won a walkover, but
technically speaking, it is a farm boost. But you're right.
It won. So yeah. So there's lots of
How's that Racing Excellence series going, BHA?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, what was that? They've had 3 or 4 in the last week or something, haven't we?
We've had more walkovers in the last few weeks than we had in the entire 2003 season, which is the last time walkovers were this bad. Congratulations, BHA. Another brilliant initiative. Well done.
Yeah. But the weather has played a bit of a part, and hopefully we won't see as many now, hopefully.
No, it hasn't. It obviously has, but it was a stupid idea in the first place. Anyway, please go on. Sorry.
But, look, this could just be another one for the Skeltons. They could have it off on Saturday. And Rory, look, the 12 stone is a little bit of a niggle. It's going to be tough in the ground, but one on soft and heavy in the past. And, it's 8th in the champion bumper here in 2024, Royal Infantry. So I just think that form of that Chepstow race looks fairly solid to me. As I say, a lot of horses have come out that finished in behind it, including Friendship, who fell and won. So Royal Infantry for me here.
Okay, that's not the horse. Peter?
Yeah, your horse is Friendship, isn't it?
No, I really like Friendship, and I tipped him on TalkSport 2.
Oh, I was wrong.
When he won at 6-1 the other day, but no, I'm going to take him on.
Okay. Look, it's a competitive race. I'm going to base it, as I've been doing the whole show, that it's going to be pretty soft ground. You have to respect the top 2 in the market during Conn Royal Infantry. But I do like Friendship. I think he's solid. I thought that was a decent race he won, and I thought he won it well. He's gone up 8 for it. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, he ticks a lot of boxes to run a good race, so I'll be putting him up. I wouldn't rule out Tony Martin's horse for sure. Him was saying, whenever the money comes for him and he's fancied, maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's not, he'll go close. And just a couple that I'm interested in. Royal Rambler for Emma Lavelle. Again, you see, the problem with this is I don't know what level of fitness it's turning up at, but I think that's a horse off 127 that could be competitive this season. So I'll be putting something in him, at that odds. I'd be stupid if I didn't. Only one. And give him a chance, might have a small squeak to hit a place. But look, yeah, for me, Friendship is the main one here. But I'd be looking at a few others, and Royal Rambler will head the list of the others.
Okay.
Come on, Emmet, what's this horse? Come on.
Half-brother to a Joseph O'Brien horse who's just been newly acquired and he'll make his debut from pretty soon. But he's won over 2 mile 3 on heavy ground in France. And a half-brother to Gitmaker, who was placed in the Scottish Grand National and won over 3 mile 1 on good ground over fences. This horse was an 8th length winner of his point-to-point. This is the first time he's ever run over further than 2 miles over hurdles. He was sent off a well-backed favourite in his handicap debut at Newbury. Fair enough, the form of that race isn't worth a bean, but the manner of how well he was backed and the way he strode away from everything would suggest this is a horse who's going to be going places. And his previous form saw him beat Tripoli Flyer, who would then go on to win three consecutive starts, including bolting up in a Grade 2, off a mark of 132 for a trainer who won this race with Grand Cru back in 2010. Geron Khan is the absolute nap of the weekend, and I can't believe none of you mentioned him. 7-2. 7-2. He'll absolutely devour this lot on that ground. Good night, good luck, see you later. Nap material, 1xbet. Don't cut him. 1xbet, don't cut him. In fact, you should be pushing him out in price, 1xbet. He's got no chance.
They
Push
should
him out
have
to
the
5.
Emmet Kennedy nap of the day that they push out, because bookmakers do that. You know that? You give your nap and they push him out.
7-2, 1xbet.
Point
Thanks.
out Ollie Murphy's horse has won on soft ground this year already.
Yeah, don't care. Geron Khan's going to murder him. He's going to murder the lot of them. And then he'll go win the fixed brush hurdle next week if they want to as well. And he'll have your dinner too, George Gorman. He's going to absolutely bolt up. Right, I'm very excited. I'm like having to pull myself back. I'm so excited about that horse. Don't at me if he gets duffed. If we throw a dog a bone, we don't know how it tastes, but I'm very excited about him. Okay, a couple of other races just to very, very quickly go through. We've got the Monksfield on Sunday, which is going to be an interesting run of the race. We've got a Lips Chaser who's going to be wearing the Final Approach silks. Very fond memories of that horse. And on Saturday, we'll see champion chaser Marie Nationale back in action against the Mayor's Chase winner, Dino Blue. Isn't that great? Dino Blue will probably be headed to the Mayor's Chase again this season because that's what everybody wants to see. Who thinks Dino Blue can beat Marie Nationale?
Yeah, absolutely. This would be, I said a couple of weeks ago, I'd only had one bet so far for the weekend. It's rare I've had a bet before the Friday, really, just because of the ground. But I've already backed Dino Blue for this. She's 2 from 3 on seasonal debut, and the only defeat came to an Ergamine in the Hilly Way last year.
Did George get taken out? He did.
No, someone keeps trying to ring me. Look, she receives £11 and she's only rated £10. Marie Nationale's inferior. I think first time out, his win could be suspect. Marie Nationale, he's seemed to struggle with it, and I think first time out would be the time to catch him. Dino Blue is probably the faster horse, to be honest. Like she's a very quick horse, which is why I'll be against her come Cheltenham this year. I think she won a below par. Well, everyone knows she won a below par Mayor's Chase last year. I think she'll be vulnerable to a stronger stayer once again come the big event. But I think this could be hers to win.
Found a 50 gets a bit of weight from Marie Nationale. He'll do him. He'll do him for race fitness. This is a very, very clever piece of placing from Gordon Elliott. I know he was sent off favourite behind Envoy LN, but I think it was just get him there, get him race fit. They've backed him up off a quick run before and he won. They've tried it twice. One of them he won. He's a course and distance winner. He liked the ground. Found a 50 to win this race. He's 8-1. Andy, you're on mute.
I'm not now. Look, Captain Guinness has won this a couple of times. I'm with George. I think Dino Blue. I think slightly. What does it get? £11 off. Marine Nationale. Yeah. And I just think that Marine Nationale might just need a run or two, like it did last season, to hit top gear. And yeah, I just think Dino Blue. Mullins has won this 3 times. He hasn't won it for a while, actually. His first win was 1994, quite amazingly, and his last one was over 11 years ago, I think, 2014. So I think you can have another one here. Dino Blue. And Marine Nationale will come on for the run and certainly one to watch as the season goes on.
You mightn't see the best of Marine Nationale until Cheltenham.
Yeah, agreed.
Found to 50 is rated 164. Dino Blue is rated 160. I almost don't, like, fair play if Marine Nationale goes and wins, that's great, and it's great to see the horse back in action. I think you almost have to take him on. This is Gordon's local track. He will be fit. He will be ready. If there's a race to be won with him, it's going to be this.
If I can, with Founder 50, he is a course and distance winner there, but he scrambled home because he does jump badly right on occasions.
Yeah,
it's
he can.
Just bearing in mind.
Yeah, that is true.
Just worth bearing in mind. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just thought it should be flagged up that right-handed, left-handed, he's not the most straightforward prospect.
Yeah,
and these might be a bit better than Solness.
That's a fair point. And even if you were disagreeing with me, that's allowed. Like, that's encouraged, in fact. But he beat Solness. And Declan Carroll is probably now having his ears burning, going, the best 2-mile chaser in training. Like, he absolutely bolted up in not one, but 2 grade ones afterwards. So,
but what price is he for this?
Forget that. Who knows? Peter?
Yeah, I'll just be watching this unless you know for a fact that something is, that has around the season is pretty much tuned up first. It's pointless having a bet in this.
Found to 50, lads. I'm telling you, lads.
Yeah, well,
8-1, lads.
Yeah, it's a pity there wasn't one more runner for you, Emmet. You'd have to top three.
One more.
Yeah. But look, I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's impossible to know. So I'm just going to leave it. I'll watch it.
Okay. Any other business? We've got the Great Wood. We've got the Troy Town. Anything else you want to put in there? The reason we're not just going to do tips for those races right now is ground, lads. It's Thursday. The ground changed dramatically from one day to the next. So maybe we record an emergency podcast on Saturday afternoon if we're not all wasted drunk celebrating our Durancon winnings after I persuade the boys to go and lump on. George, any other business in your naps of the weekend?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention the Yellow Clay running in Lismon Hurdle. He's not a betting prospect at 8-13, but be interesting. I think we all thought he'd go chasing this season, and maybe just he had a harder fall at Punchestown than we all thought. But if he can pick up where he left off, God, he impressed me at Cheltenham. Like, I had him wrong all season. I thought he was a solid Grade 2 horse, but that was a Grade 1 performance. There was at 6 Mile Bridge, went an absolutely suicidal pace up front. He followed it and still beat Final Demand, who sat off the pace, then went and bolted up at Punchestown. The New Lion looks an absolute rocket ship, but he was ridden from off the pace that day. This was the only thing that sat anywhere near the pace that finished his race. I think he could be a right monster going forward if that fall hasn't knocked him. We've got graded action all weekend. I'd like to give a mention to Jerryville at Wetherby in the last there. It is ITV action. I tipped him up a couple of weeks ago. Looked like he needed it. In hindsight, he's only 2 from 10 off the back of breaks of 50 days or more. He shaped well, travelled into it and got tired. I think he can be dangerous with fitness on his side this time. And now he's been dropped £2. He's £1 lower than his last winning mark. And as said last time, he's only won 4 times over fences. 2 are over this course and distance. So I think he's still a very backable price. So he'd interest me. And a bit of a treat this week, I've got a horse to follow. I became aware of that runs Monday at Exeter. So it's a horse called Harry Lowe's, owned by JP McManus, trained by Dan Skelton, won a Quakerstown point-to-point in April last year trained and ridden by Derek O'Connor, and was bought by, obviously, current connections. This horse is out of a mare called Dazza, who I know very well. I used to ride at Gary's. She was a 5 furlong winner herself. She's full sister to Violet Dancer, who won the Betfair Hurdle and the Kingmaker Novice Chase. And that also makes this horse a half. So Dazzle was also a half to Crispy Green, who was a very successful chaser. I think he won a Charis Fen Hurdle, who's a very good horse. This mare is excelling at stud. Like the first one, was it Coniston George? It's with Nicky Richards, is now a 4-time winner, rated in the mid-120s. Won not that long ago, actually. And Rip Wheeler, who we have at ours, won on Chase debut during the week. The fact that this one's sort of been snapped up by such fancy connections, having come out of such a good yard, this has got to be a horse to follow. I'm sure it'll have some very fancy entries as the season goes on. So well worth watching if you're in front of a TV for Monday for Exeter.
Well, hopefully we're going to be recording Monday afternoon. Lizzie Kelly, Daryl Jacob, special guest on the show, returning to the show. 1:30 that race is at Exeter. Luamba is going to be running in the 2 o'clock. That's going to be intriguing. Is he going to come unstuck against the mighty Gary Moore horse Salver? We shall see. We shall see. But that's going to be intriguing. There's some other interesting horses over the weekend as well. Andy Newton, the man who continues to be in top class form. Who have you got for us?
Yeah, that Weatherby race 3:43, which is on ITV that George spoke about. Just, I think we mentioned it in that Arkle race at Cheltenham. Just, if Be Aware does run okay or even win that race, then Serendipity was second to that, and I think that goes there. So that's just something to look at. And Nicky Richards is going all right at the moment. He's got one in there called Paris Encore. So that's in that other ITV race. The Great Wood is a tricky race there. Hasn't been a great one for the favourites. Only 2 of the last 23 jollies have gone in. And age-wise, you want sort of something really sort of 4, 5 or 6 there, which is going to be most of them. But I think you can probably rule out maybe 8 or 9 of them, which are slightly older, or even you've got a 4-year-old in there, Gibbs Island. But the one I like there is that Serious Challenge, Fergal O'Brien. He had the 3rd last year with Dysart Enos, which beaten favourite. But I think this one, back down in trip, ran 4th at Aintree last time out, ran okay, should come on for that. Ground will be fine. And it's vying for favouritism, so I'm hoping it doesn't go favourite because of the shocking favourites record in this race. But Serious Challenge in the Great Wood on Sunday. And then in terms of naps, look, I think we're going to try and play it safe this week. I think July Flower in the Arkle Trial looks a bit of a solid one with the sort of doubts over Burdett Road and so on. Probably only has to be Aware. And then Hojo Smoke in the Gold Cup. I won't mention the name of the sponsors in that, but the Gold Cup at 2:20. And then I do like Royal Infantry against you, Emmet, I'm sorry, in the 3:30 at Cheltenham. So we'll go head to head there as the sort of NBB. So yeah, July Flower, Holy Jolly Smoke, and Royal Infantry.
Okay, Jurancon is the nap. He wins. Don't ask any questions. Just get stuck in. 3:30 Cheltenham, gamble responsibly and all that. Parchment, 12:35 Cheltenham. First race on Saturday. July Flower, 1:45. Andy Newton's absolutely right. Found the 50s too big at 8-1 if you can get that. In the 2:45 at Navan. Kiki Joe, 2:55 Cheltenham Saturday. And if it is heavy ground, this is the proviso. If it's heavy ground, I think Hunter Legend with extended each way places is going to run a massive race in the Edward O'Grady Gold Cup this year, the 2:20. So it's a lucky 63 if it's heavy ground on Jurancon 3:30, Parchment 12:35, July Flower 1:45, Found a 50 2:45 Navan. Go on, old boy. Kiki Joe 2:55 Cheltenham Saturday with Hunter Legend 2:20 Cheltenham if it's heavy ground for a lucky 63. See you in Dubai. Peter Michael, will you be in the first class lounge with me? Who's your horses?
Oh yes, absolutely. Why wouldn't I be, Emmet? Yeah, look, I was going to put up July Flower as well. I mean, I don't think she's a hell of a lot of value, but she is the most likely winner probably of the day at Cheltenham. And I'll pick another one as well to go with that as the next best. I'll go with Friendship in the 3:30. You might get 4 places in that. There's 13 runners at the moment. Should be hard to keep out of the first 4, you know. But I mentioned a few others in that race as well, so I'll be keeping an eye on them and maybe a small bet on 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, July Flower will be my nap and Friendship my next best.
You have the TriCast for that 3:30, but they'll all be behind Jurancon. Right, that's it. Thank you very much
for
watching.
Emmet,
quick.
I forgot to give my nap and next best.
Quick.
The nap is oh god, it's come out of my head. Next best is Catboy. Nap is Dino Blue. So it's a full house in the 3:30 at Cheltenham. You've got a nap and 3 next bests in the same race.
This episode brought to you by 1xBet. Crucial thing about 1xBet, fast withdrawals. Fast, instant withdrawals. Instant, fast. Anyway, you can get access to more than 7,000 markets every single day if you're betting in Ireland. Check out the link in the episode description to take you right to the 1xBet site, or check out 1xBet.ie. But link in the episode description will take you there. 18 plus, obviously. Terms and conditions apply, as they always do in life. Gamble responsibly. 1xBet knows the crack. Bet with your head, not above it. Lizzie Kelly back with us on Monday to break down all the action. We'll have a special guest as well. Loads of very interesting novice hurdlers and novice chasers to talk about. Lots of big things to talk about in racing, and hopefully we'll be reflecting on a big weekend of winners. From Andy Newton, George Gorman, Peter Michael and me, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong Podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong Podcast. Independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.